Hello everybody and welcome back to the SOOP Duel Series. Today we're going to be watching Mini versus Light. This incredible best of 7 will start out on Retro. We'll move to Polyploid, Apocalypse, Neo Dark Origin. If we still haven't had a winner, Vermeer, Citadel, and Blitz Y will be our final maps. And guys, I've got some new information for you. $500 is what these players are competing for. That's the prize pool for this tournament. Every single day, the SOOP Duel Series will continue. Here we go now with Mini versus Light. Mini, our first player, spawning here in the top left-hand corner. And a Light down here in the bottom right. Now, guys, if you follow the SCSL, which you absolutely should, both myself and Shun will be casting that series in the upcoming season, but currently in this season, I've been casting it with Nyokin, and we are about to see Mini versus Light in the semifinals. So this could be a little precursor for that series. Very exciting stuff. I think that's also going to be a best of 7. No, excuse me. Could be a best of 5. I'll have to confirm that. But these two guys are at the top of their game. They're both very hotly contesting that SCSL finals. And so we're going to get a little preview today with the SOOP Duel Series. Guys, thank you to everyone who's here in the live stream. And anyone who donates to this live stream is going to be helping me to keep this stream going, to help me keep the SDS, the SOOP Duel Series, casted in English, which is, it's just best for everyone if we can get this out to you guys and continue to partner with SOOP. And I have heard your concerns. Some people are saying, you know, it's too bad that it has to be on SOOP's platform. It's just the way it is, guys. We have to work with them. Also, I'm not able to actually observe these games myself. They have to be observed by an official Africa TV computer. That's because they don't want the replays coming out. And so it's a little bit unfortunate. I hear your guys' concerns, but this is, again, my first ever partnership with the SOOP, or with SOOP, formerly known as Africa TV. And we can expect improvements in the future if this series goes very well. If this partnership is doing well, then you know they're going to see the value of having me on as a caster and having English content in the future. We might be able to get more of it. This is so close. My goodness, he gets the SCV. The Marine comes out to save, but just barely not able to keep that alive. And the probe will swing past towards this main base. You'll have to loop around the left-hand side here as the second Marine comes out. Maybe be able to block this with the SCV. He wasn't on a mineral command, of course. Oh, so close. Probably about 1 HP on that. But Mini has gotten away with a lot here. He went for a Nexus first. He did open with 2 gates behind it, but although this is kind of the less economic Nexus first, it's still a Nexus first. We're not going to have the tech out as quickly, but we have plenty of gateways to follow up with. And the SCV still hasn't made it over to spot Mini. He's been very aggressive with this probe, keeping Light back, and even now going to trap this SCV in the center left. What is this building over here, though? That must be a drop. That must be a starport over in the center left. Light has had enough. He wants to get in there and deal some damage now. He's not going to take any more of this punishment. And so Mini goes ahead and throws down a pylon in his wall. He will cancel that as the Dragoon comes out. With the double gateway follow-up, Light has no idea there's a double gateway follow-up. There should definitely be enough Dragoons to deal with this drop. However, Are the Dragoons going to be in the right position? Because this could absolutely bring Light into a lead. He is definitely behind as things stand right now. Mini blocking up his entrance with an extra pylon. He's going to cancel that, but if he just kept that blocked, I'd say he would be in a fantastic spot to just keep himself alive here. Pushing up with 3 Marines and 2 Vultures. As long as he continues to make pure Dragoons, this should be an easy stop for Mini. The mines get set up here at the front. Not going to dive right in just yet. Okay, 1 Vulture. Looks like it's going to try and slip by. The probes come off the line. Oh my gosh, he doesn't target the... Oh, he doesn't target the mine there. That was so big. Missed the target on that mine. He's trying to target it with the probes. He does target 2 of the mines with the probes. Marines are over here on the right-hand side. If he runs in with 1 Dragoon, he could drag the mines and kill everything. But he's actually falling back. He's losing a lot of probes over here on the right-hand side. And he's trying to clear out these mines. Going up into his main. So many probes have been killed, guys. Almost every probe has been killed in that natural. 21 probes remain after all this damage. This is an insane amount of damage from Light's perspective. He has just crushed this natural, and he's got the follow-up drop, guys. Don't forget about that. Drops are going to be coming in, but I would actually be concerned about a counterattack. After doing this much damage, it feels like... Oh, man, he even loses another Dragoon. Well, counterattack's not going to be nearly as strong if he keeps losing Dragoons to mines, so... This is absolutely huge. Light is opened with a fantastic build to punish a Nexus first. A little bit of mistargeting, just the tiniest little bit of miss micro from Mini has really hurt him insanely bad here. There are no Dragoons in this main base. As expected, he comes in and just starts ravaging the mineral line. GG. Mini taps out with Light taking game number 1. We're jumping into game number 2 now. Mini versus Light. Light spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner. And a Mini in the top right. Very nice aggressive build out of Light that first game. He knew he needed to get some damage. I don't even think Light was expecting to get that much damage though with the initial push. 3 Marines and 2 Vultures. With a third one rallying across the map, he makes that engagement look just silly good. Crazy good. As he gets in there and just murders all of the probes. Definitely some miss micro from Mini. Some mismanagement with his probes and mistargeting with his units as those Vultures came up and laid their mines. And now we've got Mini throwing down a gateway. He doesn't want to go for Nexus first this time. Not going to risk it. There was a little bit too much punish, a little bit too much preparation there for Light. His pressure was very smooth. And the follow-up drop, even if that hadn't done as much damage, the initial attack into the front, which I think that Light really wasn't expecting that much damage, the follow-up drop would have been nasty. It would have been devastating. For sure. Mini really wasn't able to put on any pressure despite being so active with the probe. He was looking very good with that initial probe, very confident. Able to kill an SCV and get the full scout. Well, or not the full scout, but he got into the natural there. And managed to get out with the probe. Without really taking any damage from... or not allowing Light to see anything in his base. Complete blackout for Light. He had no idea what was going on, really. But he executed that plan perfectly, and now a Zealot is going to be rallied across the map. Light is building his factory and barracks on high ground, so he should have everything out here in time. 3 Marines and with some workers to body block the Zealot shouldn't be much of a problem, although mistakes do happen even at the highest level, as we saw in that last game. Gonna start a bunker here on the low ground immediately. Did he start an add-on, or did he make the vulture first? Well, you see the zealot. Pretty common, pretty typical to make that vulture first. Oh, he hasn't even finished that yet. Of course. What am I saying? Factory is not done. Starts at 2 minutes 30. If you're at the quality, the caliber of light. And he'll be finishing up just now. He does start the add-on immediately, though. Without making the vulture first. We've got CC in the natural. And let's see what Light's plan is now, because Mini is going right down the middle of the road. Not being too greedy. Not being too crazy. He hasn't started his range just yet. He's got plenty of gas to throw down. Whatever sort of tech he wants, it's going to be robotics facilities. So going straight into that robo. Not much scouting information for Light on the map at the moment. Hasn't really gotten over here, but he's confident with his relatively quick expansion and going directly into Starport afterwards. Another drop is going to be coming through. Let's check that right around 6-minute timing and see if Mini is ready with Dragoons back at home, or if he wants to stay here and pressure in the front with his Dragoons. He's got range on the way. Vulture is going to slip out on the map as the Dragoon heads back home. Is Mini going to read this? Or will he be caught off guard by the drop once again? Was certainly caught with his pants down the last game. And that's not how I want to see this series go. I was hoping for an epic PVT, and that could still happen. But Mini needs to start this comeback. And starting it early would be best. Has his Dragoons out pretty far at the moment. It's not quite at that 6-minute mark, though. Protoss players very aware of the timings of when drop play can come in to their base. Setting up some mines on high ground. He really wants to prevent a Dragoon from moving into a position that can scout this drop coming in. There's still a tiny sliver of darkness, of fog of war on the right of this Dragoon up on the high ground. Let's see if he can slide past. Yeah, it looks like he'll just barely manage to slip through, but look at the timing. 5 minute 50. He pulls back all of his Dragoons to his base. He is completely aware of this timing. And here it comes right into this natural. Is going to kill a bunch of probes already. About 4 or 5 probes have gone down. 2 more vultures into the main. They're going to go ahead and rake in as many probe kills as they can. The dropship actually doing a pretty good job eating some shots for these vultures as they get more kills. Down to just 26 probe. This is a massive success for Light. He's done so much economic damage. He's now ahead of 5 workers, even more than that, 7 workers with a Wraith on the way. He saw the robotics facility, so he knows that building a Wraith right now is going to have a lot of utility. The Reaver's going to come out. He's going to pick up 2 Zealots. Dude, if he picks up 2 Zealots and goes across the map, I think that Mini might be cooked. Nice shot there with the Reaver. But he picks it up and starts to head out. Maybe if he goes directly towards the natural with Dragoons underneath, he's going to be okay. But if he just flew directly over to Light's base, that would be lights out. Pun intended. We've got a Stargate on the way for Mini. That is interesting. Is he going to go 2-base carrier after this? Well, he's going to try and deal a little damage at the front for now. Just out of range of this tank. A little bit of a ill placement on that tank. Unfortunately, the Reaver is still able to hit here. Didn't target down the Reaver either. Actually targeted onto that Dragoon. Going to get a couple more shots. Is this still out of range? It must be. Otherwise, I just visually don't know the range of a tank, but He's gonna dive in now, try to drop some zealots on top of this. He's gonna lose the Reaver. The Reaver didn't come out. Oh my gosh. What happened there for Mini? He was right on top of the tank. He could have dropped both the zealots and then the Reaver, but he fumbled really hard there. I think Mini, in a state of confusion, I really can't explain it any other way. What is going on? This guy is choking hard. He just threw away his Reaver. And he could have picked off a lot more stuff. It is crazy to me that he didn't get that Reaver out at all. Now gonna fly in with the dropship. That's definitely gonna be taken out. So one little win here for Mini, but that's still got the bitter taste of defeat, even though it is a win. It's not going to be feeling too good for Mini, who still sitting here on 2 bases, is looking to add a ton of gateways as his first Arbiter pops out. He hasn't gone for DT tech initially, so the Arbiter is going to be much weaker. There's still going to be a lot of scans available. Light will not need to be spending scans constantly to deal with DTs. So a lot of the utility is going to be gone from these Arbiters, at least until they have... Well, all of the utility is going to be gone from the Arbiters until they have either Stasis or Recall. And I doubt it's going to be Recall because Light is looking so far ahead. He can push here very soon. And there's not going to be a lot that Mini can do to stop that. He has the gateway count now to overwhelm, but Light's getting this 3rd base online ahead of Mini. He's going to saturate that soon, and that means more factories, more production from Light. And Mini just doesn't have any tools to harass him at all. He hasn't built another Reaver, and at least I haven't seen it. That's really the only tool for harassment that Mini has, whereas Light can still run around and try to snipe with vultures, try to run by into the natural or the main base. Okay, it seems like there might be another Reaver out here. A little bit of a stopgap between this and the Arbiter production while the Arbiters are coming online. Nice snipe there to get rid of that pesky observer, clearing out all these mines. Mini clears center right. Opens up that position. I wonder if he's going to expand to that location. It's just so close to Light, I can't imagine it. And Light is already in the top left and top center, laying down mines, getting ready for a potential 4th base. Mini knows he has to get ahead in bases or he's just not going to last in this game. And so he's going to try and take that base in the center right. Let's see how that works out for him, because Light is already gearing up with a 20 supply advantage to push out and put a ton of pressure on the Mini. Really, the sooner the better, because Mini will have those spells up here pretty soon. But if you've only got just like 1 stasis and the tanks are spread pretty well, what is that going to do for you? It's like pirate software. What do you want me to do for you? That's what the Arbiter is saying. They really don't have a chance. They're gonna end up roaching out. And Light will win this game. Mini will have to leave. We got Arbiter here in the natural. It has enough energy for the 1 stasis. Recall is on the way, though. Okay. That's a bit crazy. Mini is gonna bet it all on a recall from a deficit in supply. I guess he knows he just has to slow down this army, and maybe the stasis isn't going to be enough. He needs an amazing recall, a recall that I don't think he's going to be able to find. Light is nothing if not diligent in his defense. He's going to have mines everywhere. He's going to have turrets everywhere. Look at how diligently he's spread his tanks here. It's beautiful, really. We're flying around, picking off observers. This is some top level Terran play. This is like if you had the... Oh, wait, hold on a minute. We've got this Arbiter flying in. Here's that recall, that Hail Mary recall that I was talking about earlier. The one that has to work, the one that has to deal massive damage is already doing quite a bit. SCV recall, or SCV train comes through, and actually the Reaver goes down. That is a huge problem here for Mini, who was relying on that Reaver to kill these SCVs quickly, so they couldn't really engage. And so that the Dragoons could continue to deal more damage, but the SCVs are blocking. The tanks are going to clear out everything, and I don't know if this was enough. SCV count has dropped by a lot, down to 48. Maybe that gives Mini a lifeline in this game, but with a deficit in workers now, you can see that the overall army count is far superior for Light now. He's going to be reaching that 160 very soon and looking to move his army across the map. He's got that 4th base still mining. He didn't have to lift that or anything. And despite losing some SCVs, he's already back up to nearly 60 workers, unsieging and pulling the majority of his army forward. I think it's just about time to move. And that recall tech that was meant to delay this army by a lot so that Mini could bring himself back into this game, take a lot of bases, get himself into a decent macro position. I don't think it's really worked, and it's not going to help him against a massive army of tanks, vultures, Goliaths that's going to be pushing forward here soon. That recall, I mean, technically you can recall on top of the army. Technically, you can try that, but look at all the Goliaths in here. They're going to gun down those Arbiters super quickly. I'd love to get a click on one of these tanks so we can see what the upgrades are currently, if he's moving out, you know, pre his upgrade timing or post. Seems like that first stasis very weak on the side of Mini. He didn't even get a single tank in that, though he did pick off a couple of tanks that rotated around the top side of that little barrier we see to the left of the mineral only. So a little bit of mismanagement there for Light. It's very difficult to move this massive army around. We expect perfection, but Brood War is not a perfect game. Not by a long shot. Then it's impossible to play perfectly no matter who you are, even if you're Flash or Light or anybody else. Here comes that first stasis. 3 tanks get hit there on the low ground, but the EMP comes through. Oh, the EMP is massive. 2 Arbiters just got hit by that. And I think this is an unsiege and go moment for Light. As soon as he kills this Reaver in the shuttle, he's going to be able to move forward unimpeded. He has such a big army here. He cannot be too hasty with it, of course. Bad things happen when Terrans siege late, but with the advantages he's accrued so far, it's hard to imagine Mini wiping out this army. Gonna dive on top of that Reaver. That was the last hurdle for him in this game. Another Arbiter comes out. Another EMP goes down. Look at the spread of tanks here on the left-hand side. That's a lot of Zealots, though. They're gonna get on top of some of these tanks, but as long as he keeps the comsats going, he should be able to deal with all this. Unsieging there at the last minute. The number of tanks is still way too high. There's got to be like 24 tanks there still after that full-on engage, and look at how far Mini supply has dropped down to just 142. In fact, he was lower than that until this last round of units came out. And so pushing forward with around 160 supply with more rallies coming up behind this. Light stacks his tanks a little bit too tightly, and they end up in a frozen prism there at the back, but you have to be able to beat the other tanks that aren't frozen in order to make that worth it. And I just don't think he can beat all of these unfrozen tanks. All of these tanks here at the front line are just going to keep pushing forward, and that stasis will eventually wear off. And that'll just be added to the rally of Light. reinforcing this army. The position is so good. Even bringing the SCVs up with this, setting up turrets in the midst of all this army. The splitting is really perfect. And Light is showing us an absolute masterclass in Terran versus Protoss. This guy, my goodness, Light is absolutely on fire today. And Mini's, oh my gosh. Oh, all the probes go down and the Nexus explodes just seconds afterwards. This is a complete bop so far. Mini needs to go back to the drawing board and rethink all of his plans, because Light is just on a warpath. He is not playing the way that Mini anticipated. And he needs to correct things as soon as possible if he wants to stand any chance in winning over Light in this series, and also retaining any confidence going into the SCSL semifinals. Now we've got Mini circling around this. He's looking for some way back in, but with the natural destroyed, the base at center right, and the mineral only already being sieged and taken out, Light is shoving directly over to top left. I don't see this coming to a favorable conclusion for the Protoss player, but Mini is continuing to just try to backpedal, pick off units as much as he can, and wait for more Arbiters to come out to potentially do something about this. He's got a recall on top of the tanks. This is pretty good. Not bad at all. A lot of these tanks are going to go down in the back line, but there's just too much. There's a 60 supply advantage and everything dies. GG, Mini taps out. Light, 2-0 so far, is looking nigh unstoppable in this series. What can Mini do to bring this one back? Jumping into game number 3, we've got Mini down here in the bottom right, Light in the top center. We are here on Apocalypse. There he is. The monster. Light. How can you stop this guy? The way that he plays Terran, this is what most Terran players aspire to. There are so many great Terran players out there. They have so many different styles and intricate ways of playing and separating themselves from other Terrans, but this is the guy that most of us would say this is who they look up to. Most of the Terran players out there aspire to be like this guy. Gas first? Okay, this is just to block a potential gas steal, just in case Mini sent out the early probe with a 50-50 chance of stealing the gas. He starts the gas and then waits to begin his barracks, like not wanting to get gas stolen here. It still will be a very fast gas, but it's clear that his build is not revolving around that early gas. It's more of a precautionary measure to make sure that Mini can't steal it. And so Light taking a little bit of a hit to his build. He may not be able to get that perfect 2-minute 30 factory, but we'll still see. Maybe he's made the appropriate alterations here. We'll still be able to hit that. He's actually got the money for it. Boom, he hits it. It's like a 226. I guess he's gonna take a hit to an economy or something. I'm not sure, but that is a very fast factory. Very, very fast. And so the Vulture is going to be incredibly quick. Perhaps he's not going to have as many Marines. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what he's giving up to have this factory so quick. I'm not a Terran professional or anything. Not a Terran player, guys. Zerg player here. I apologize to any of you Terrans out there who know the build intricately and are wondering why I don't, it's because I don't play Terran. Now, Protoss coming in here with his Zealot. I don't play Protoss either, so a little bit of a difficult cast for me. It is what it is. We're doing our best. Vulture gonna pop out here in a moment. Dragoon is coming across this map. The SCV is in the main base of Mini, by the way, checking out everything. First Marine goes down. Second Marine goes down. Wait a second. I expected much better from Light with this early control against the first Zealot. Now he's in a lot of trouble. Dragoon comes right in and starts to hit these SCVs. It can kill the Marine as well. The Marine, I think one of those Marines has taken a couple of hits from a Zealot, but he's going to back up for now, putting quite a bit of damage onto this SCV. His Nexus starts back at home, and he pulls all the way back. Dragoon, with no shields remaining, is going to allow this Vulture to slip by. In fact, he moves to the south to intercept that. Another starport. Okay. Light being ultra consistent with his ideas this series. He's realized that Mini is not the greatest at holding off these drop tactics. They've been getting a lot of damage throughout so far, so why not continue? Why not drop when you're getting upwards of 6-7 probes every time you do it? And so we're going to see him with that early aggression once again. He's getting into Mines upgrade, but we'll see if Mini pulls back his Dragoons in time. If he's in the right position and if he targets properly, he should be able to shut this down. He's got a couple of gateways. I think he's actually got 3 gate. He's going much more defensive this game. 3 gate Observer is the most defensive opener for a Protoss player in PvT. And so with that 3 gate coming online, there's the potential to have more than enough Dragoons to deal with this. Will they be in the right position? And will he continue to produce off of those gateways to have that large number of goons prepared? We're striking that 550 mark now, and I don't see the goons being pulled back. It's right around this time when Light could potentially come in with that drop. We're at 6 minutes now, and the drop has initiated. The Dragoons are way out of position. He's going to come around this side and try to drop in a spot that's not really being watched by Mini and try to set up mines right up next to these Dragoons. Very lucky that the Dragoons popped out at that exact moment. Otherwise, he would have been in a lot more trouble. 3 probes, 4 probes have gone down so far. Still has the potential for one-shots on these probes. More Vultures going to slip by into the natural. Meanwhile, a big mini counterattack going over towards this Terran natural. So many probes are going down, but the attack is coming in. Can he actually block this? SCVs are going to block on the right-hand side. Perfectly done by Light. You can't get any damage. And Light's just going to loop around, go for more probe kills. He's already 7 probes ahead, 7 workers ahead of Mini, and he's looking for more. Here comes the first tank that's going to come out and start to hit these Dragoons. At the same time, here comes that drop. Drop is going to make a run for it. At least 2-3 probe kills are going to go down here. 2-3. It's like he just gets the 3. Good enough, though. That is a lot of kills. I think in total about 6, maybe 7 probe kills. Once again, I wasn't fully counting there. In the heat of the moment, I was more concerned about this counterattack, but Mini, totally blocked out of Light's natural, is in a rough position again for game number 3. He is almost down and out. He does have that 3rd Nexus finish, though, and that's kind of his saving grace in this game. At least he can spread those few probe numbers over a larger number of mineral patches and maybe make up for some of this economic deficit. Once you've got about 2 workers per patch, the income drastically drops off with adding more SCVs. And so Light's SCVs, even though he's got more workers in total, he's mining on fewer patches. He's mining like 3 or more workers per patch at the moment, with 50 on just 2 bases. Whereas Mini is going to be mining around 2 per patch, with almost the same number on 3 bases. CJOT, thank you so much for the gems, my friend. Really, really appreciate it. 50 gems. Thank you so much. Absolutely critical that we get support for this stream. Oh my goodness. Mini. We have not seen this from him yet. He's going for a carrier transition. Carrier transition when he's behind. It seems risky, but you gotta take risks when it comes to a deficit like this. Mini has to make some changes to what he's doing if he wants to take a win in this game. He scans, he sees the Stargate, but he doesn't see the follow-up tech. Remember, Mini did Arbiter last game, and there's a potential hit for him to do Arbiter again. So maybe Light looks at this and he says Arbiter is coming, but he has no idea that carrier tech is on the way. That scout right there, absolutely insane. I can't believe how close that was. What's this? Light throws down a base in bottom left. Very interesting decision there. He's just going to go for a hidden base. And you know what? Hidden base is incredibly good against carrier tech. It seems funny, but despite carriers being extremely mobile in the fact that they have, they can fly, you know, they can fly around the map. They don't have to worry about terrain. So they should be very mobile, but it takes a long time for carriers to fly all the way to bottom left. And that could be an opportunity for Light to attack somewhere else. And so expanding all over the map and just throwing down random bases in hidden locations, it can actually be very good against carrier tech. And there it is. He sees it. Oh my god. There's still an opening over here on the left-hand side. And Light is going to abuse the heck out of it. He's killed like 4 probes, 5 probes, 6, maybe even 6. No, 4, 5, about 5 probes there. He has just been ravaging this economy non-stop. 45 probes. How has this happened? He's lost so many workers this game, and Light has full information now of what's going on. He can go for a 2-1 timing on 3 bases with this third way down in the bottom left-hand corner. Mini is very unlikely to scout that. He hasn't seen the SCV transfer going that direction. He doesn't have a lot of observers out here on the map. Light has actually been looking for those as usual, is trying to shoot them down. He's continuing with this drop. This drop is insane. It's been going on for so long. From about the 6-minute mark, now a total of 6 minutes, he's just been continuously dropping over and over. Here goes another 4 or 5 probes. Actually, he gets 6 and maybe a 7 probes. What? 37 workers, guys. How is Mini going to win a game if he can't build probes? He can't get above 40. He's gone above a couple of times, but he's continued to be dropped down. Here he comes again. You just got over 40 probes. Well, now you're back down. Back down to 40 once again. You can make a lot of probes with those Nexi, but Light is just harassing back and forth between the natural and the third base. He picks up his vultures once again. These carriers are finally going to come back and maybe deal with this dropship. It's just been so annoying. The dropship is actually faster, so it could just run away. That is funny. Those 2 carriers went over and harassed the main a little bit, but there was enough turrets and Goliaths there to just kill the interceptors and prevent those carriers from really doing much of anything. Dropping the vultures here once again, looking for some more kills. Here comes those carriers to kill the drop finally. About 7 minutes of harassment out of that one dropship. And I venture to guess about 20 or so probes were killed. And so Light is ready now. He must have 2-1 finished. And he is just going to come across this map and execute this push. Massive army moving through the middle. There's 4 carriers that are heading over towards this main. Mini has no idea about the base in bottom left. And we've got a 20 supply advantage for Light. He's slowly pushing up towards this high ground. Very important that he takes this next fight super carefully. There could be an opportunity for Mini to reset the game state if he wipes out this army. If Light moves up this ramp in a cavalier way and, you know, doesn't siege his tanks properly, doesn't appropriately set up mines like he's doing right now. There are now Templar out with Storm as well. This army is the best that Mini will be able to come up with. This is his real last army, though. He does not have a fourth. He does not have a follow-up. He needs to defeat what Light is bringing forward here. And he needs to do so with Storms. 2 Templar have already been picked off. The 3rd Templar goes down even before the fight really truly begins. He's pushed him down onto the low ground off of that high ground plateau. Now it'll be Mini fighting up onto high ground, and there's no choice but to do so. Templar comes out, throws down a Storm, misses. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. The power differential between Mini and Light right now. Light is throwing Mini around like he's Krillin. Just winging him around the ring right now. Beating on him like no other. Like he's in Super Saiyan God form. And this guy is just a regular human. Light is being pushed back for the moment as he runs out of Goliaths here. The carriers will be able to track down some of these tanks, but the next rally of Goliaths makes its way forward already. That's going to defend the retreat and in fact push back these carriers quite substantially. I think he got some good damage on that. Mini trying to take a 4th now, but it's 15 minutes in and Light is already taking his own 4th over at what would normally be his 3rd base. Scanning, trying to get some more damage on these carriers. I'd love to see a click on these carriers so we can see the health overall. Looks like one of them getting a little bit low. Still in the yellow HP though. And so 2 more carriers do arrive. They've got to meet up and not be gunned down by these. Oh my gosh, that was really close. He really needs to pull back a little bit quicker. Keep these carriers alive. He has this high ground on the right-hand side to retreat to. He can absolutely utilize that to try and get some extra damage on these tanks, but he's going to lose his Nexus almost certainly, and he's losing a lot of his interceptors. The Goliaths are just smashing them out of the sky. Got an Iron Dome defense here over his tanks. Missiles coming out to meet the interceptors as they try to push onto those tanks. It's a no-fly zone. Light is going to move up towards the 3rd base as well, knocking that out. He's prevented a 4th from ever going down, so no place for these probes to transfer to. A counterattack is happening for Mini right now. He has no idea that there's a base in bottom left. Still, though. Still has no idea about that. And so these carriers moving through the middle of the map. Some of them are going to be tracked down for sure. Goliath popping out and meeting up with these carriers. There goes one. A second one falls. Now only 4 carriers remain, and the Goliath number is super high. Still on 58 workers. He's going to be able to pump out enough just with his rallies to clean this, but he's brought his whole army back home. So he will 100% knock this out. Ragdolled Mini just taps immediately as he sees his army has returned. Light 3 oh so far over Mini. This is not how I expected the series to go. Some of you guys out there were predicting that, though. I remember in the comments before this was released. Here we go. Mini in the bottom right-hand corner. Light in the top left. Dark Origin. If I'm looking at this map correct. Dark Origin is our next map. Or match point. What will Mini pull out? He's got to be tilted at this point. You know he's an emotional player. He's already been defeated 3 times, primarily by early game vultures and drop. Really, those games have gone a little bit longer. They've gone to the late game a couple of times, but they were mostly decided by the early game damage that Light managed to glean from those attacks. Really tilting, frustrating that for a Protoss player to not be able to block those early vulture plays. These are this is some just completely standard stuff. Gonna steal the gas that every Protoss player has to deal with. Every Protoss player has felt the frustration of getting pulled apart by vultures, but this is what they've trained for. This is what they're used to. They know that this is what's coming, and they should, as an elite level Protoss player, be able to handle those vultures, but Light has been getting in. It's just not been Mini's day so far. Can he begin the comeback? The reverse sweep. Mini has to start here. He's using his probe to get some pretty valuable damage, force the SCVs off the line to make up for sending this early probe across the map. Light will be forced to gasless fast expand, but he's thrown down an eBay in the natural of Mini, so Mini's not going to be able to get his Nexus easily. That's super frustrating as well. Slowing this down by a lot. Zealot comes out, and so it won't be as effective. If you didn't make a Zealot there, oh my goodness, does it ever slow down the Nexus a lot. If you skip Zealot and go for to try and go for Dragoon and Nexus, Dragoon just doesn't put on the damage like a Zealot does, and it takes a long time to kill that eBay. And so he will throw down this Nexus. He will push across the map with that Zealot. It's not the biggest slowdown in the world, but Light is going to go for a gasless fast expand. I think he's completely okay with this. Otherwise, he would have done what he did in the last game on Apocalypse and taken his gas early in order to make sure that he could secure that gas and secure his build going forward. Let's see what Light has off this gasless fast expand, and with Mini finally taking a bit of control in the early game, will he be able to maneuver that into a win? We've got another building here at the front. I assume it's the Cybernetics Core, but I'm not 100% on that. Could be that he goes for a forge. Oh, it's actually a pylon. Sometimes when you go for a Nexus first, you can go for a forge to get the cannon out early, just in case there was some sort of big SCV pull with Marines, but certainly not the case in a situation like this. He's gone for the early gateway, and he's got a Zealot out there across the map scouting to see what comes out of Light. So that's not going to be his concern for now. It's what's the follow-up from Light? What is his plan? Will he be going for another drop play? If I'm Light right now, I'm thinking, man, drops have really been working well, haven't they? I think it might be okay to try and go for another drop. Great micro there to pull back that Marine. Can he actually get the kill on one of these? Oh, it's so close. He does get it. He gets the one Marine, but he traded one Marine for a probe and a Zealot. Not a great trade for Mini overall. Could have used that Zealot a little bit later on for a Reaver shuttle or something like that. Light coming over to this third base. Is he going to drop another eBay and just block this? That would be quite hilarious. There's really not many units over on this side of the map for Mini either, but it looks like he's brought back one of his Dragoons. He's going to track down this SCV. He sees a probe over here at that third Nexus position, but that doesn't tell him too much, aside from maybe Mini wants to try and take that. It's not 100%, of course. That could be kind of a bait. Like, haha, I'm gonna take a third Nexus. Just kidding, it's a Reaver in your base now sort of situation. I think that's what we're actually going to see. And Mini has that Robo, and I believe I saw a robotics support bay as well. Light gonna throw down turrets. One at his natural. He's still not aware of exactly what's going on. So he adds that early turret. Makes sure that in case it was some sort of DT play, he would at least have the bare minimum turret set up to live. Starting to pop out. Double tank now with these two factories. He's not opted for another drop play. I'm not sure if that's wise. It was doing so well so far that it almost feels like a missed opportunity to not go drop here. Certainly seems like Mini just doesn't have the chops to deal with that, and he really doesn't have any units back at home right now, which is kind of funny. Sometimes if you go for just a slightly delayed drop as well, you can get a massive amount of damage, but like we were talking about the 6-minute timing, sometimes if you come in like right at 7 minutes, the Protoss pulls back their Dragoons to defend, and then they realize, oh, you're not coming. And then you come in at 7 minutes and it completely throws them off. Great shot there with that first Reaver hit. Kills a couple of SCVs. And not enough turret coverage in this main base, and so Light has left himself a little bit open to a play like this. The Reaver is doing some good damage. That Dragoon will be pushed back for now. I think this duds. Oh no, it actually hits. Wow, does a lot of damage to the Goliaths here. And he could actually kill both of these Goliaths, I think. Yeah, and both the Goliaths will end up going down. That Reaver is still going to stand firm in the top left corner. Actually, he pulls it out as the Goliath backs up. SCVs, oh, gets a shot off. Will it actually connect? No, that SCV right there is actually going to block the Scarab from moving around the corner. It looks like the Reaver will be given up. Mini backs away with the shuttle, leaving the Reaver to die. It's okay. I mean, it's not a great amount of damage. And look at this. Mini didn't throw down a Nexus during this either. He had about 1,000 minerals in the bank. If he had dropped a Nexus during that, I would say his position would be really, really reasonable. But since he didn't start that third, and we're now here at 8 minutes 30, it feels a little bit slow. It feels a little bit late. At least he has his tech rolling. And it looks like he'll be going into Arbiter next. Which, I don't know, guys. Arbiter has not been that powerful recently. And then by recently, I mean in the past, like, 1 to 2 years. It just hasn't been as good as it has historically. Over the past 20 years, Arbiter has had a long history in TVP, but it seemed to be getting shut down a little bit too hard by Terran players, and Protoss has been experimenting a lot with high amounts of shuttles and earlier storms, which seem to be going very well for them in the past couple of seasons. But then again, SSL has gone to Zergs and Terrans so much recently. Maybe it's time for a switch up once again. And he's going to be experimenting with his Arbiter tech. However, Light is already taking his third. This is a very fast third. Usually around 11 minutes is on the curve, but here at about 9 minute 30, starting his third base. Can Mini crack this open? He's doing a lot of teching right now, so his army is not as big as if he was going for a shuttle, speed shuttle style like we were talking about earlier. Zealots do not have speed. He's gonna have to pull back here, but he does force the cancel on that CC. Very important force. to make Light rethink that early third. He's going to get it a little bit more on curve, it looks like, as he adds on more factories. He'll wait until about the 11-minute mark before trying to take that. Big win. Very big win for Mini, even getting rid of these vultures as well. He has that Arbiter coming out. Now the later Nexus over here at the third base is looking not nearly as bad. It's actually looking pretty reasonable here for Mini. If Mini was going to win one game in this series, I have to say this is it. This is the best position we've seen Mini in the whole series. Can he make it work, guys? Everyone, put your hands together. Pray with me that Mini can make this series go long. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Start this comeback. Here he comes with the Zealots now. Diving on top. He's letting the Zealots come in a little bit haphazard to get rid of the mines without taking too much damage. It's working all right, but he's lost a lot of the Zealots so far. He has prevented the third CC once again, but at quite a high cost. He is now 30 supply ahead, however. And Light is just going to go around, try to set some mines up so that this army gets damaged on the retreat. Oh gosh, these mines. Oh, a lot of mine damage there. That's pretty frustrating for Mini to deal with as he pushes over to try and secure this fourth base. Reaver gonna be dropped in the midst of these vultures. Try to get a shot off. Looks like he won't be able to do so. Reaver gonna drop again. Very good tool for dealing with vultures, but you can't be landing on top of mines or things are gonna go really haywire. Oh, this one vulture over here dealing with that probe. So annoying. That mineral patch has 32 minerals left at it. He has to get rid of that before transferring probes over to that base. And he hasn't sent another probe to go and mine that. I think Mini's forgotten about it, and so he's going to transfer around the top side, which is a lot more dangerous. In fact, he's going to have to send them out and then put a shift command to make them go and mine over at that third. So we've got Mini now looking around the edges of this base. Looks like he might be able to get 3 tanks with 1 stasis over at that one position there on the left hand side. Light has generally very good setups for his defense, and this is a particularly hard position to break. The 3 ramp, very tight ramps going across that bridge. Excuse me, 3 bridges, not ramps, going across that water. Super hard to break, especially with a setup like this. That is a lot of units all stacked up together in the rally point. Maybe if he comes forward and gets a stasis on like 7 vultures and a couple of tanks, then maybe he can just run this over. Like, a lot of stuff is here right now. That is a ton of stuff in the rally point. If he stasis like every single vulture, maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a shot. Is he going for stasis though, or is it recall again? I think recall was more of a desperation measure in that last Arbiter game. This time, the stasis is going to make a lot more sense. However, here comes the Arbiter into the main. Look at him go. He'll go right over here on top of this armory. Can he actually prevent an upgrade? That would be massive. And another Arbiter comes in. Is he going to double recall into this base? That would be crazy. He's hiding the Arbiter over here in the top left-hand corner. There is a science vessel out. I don't think the science vessel has the upgrade yet for stasis or for EMP, but I'm not sure. Where is that EMP? It's not out yet. Is he going to go for another recall on the third? No, EMP is not done. Okay, EMP is not done. We get the confirmation there from our observer. And so this Arbiter has the option to come in for another recall. Okay, it loses all its health and it'll just fly out. So what was the point of recalling that? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe he thought that Light wouldn't have the right response. Maybe he could get a stasis on the ramp or something like that. Maybe he wanted to recall again, but decided against it. I'm not clear on the plan from Mini with that secondary arbiter. Now, definitely, EMP is going to be done. Base over in the top right-hand corner has just been taken. Mini is sending probes up to top right kind of hilariously. As crazy short push distance that direction. One stasis comes out on one of these vessels. He's going to come forward with the arbiter, puts another stasis down, but this is on the tanks that are right in front of the ramp. That actually blocks the zealots a little bit, I think. Would have been nice to put the stasis on some of these tanks on the ramp to cut off damage from those reinforcements and allow allow Mini to clear out more of those forward tanks that are already across the bridge. Now Light has a foothold here on the other side of the bridge, and Mini is going to be forced back. That is really what he wanted to prevent, was Light ever getting a foothold out on the map by utilizing these stasis and a dive forward. It was meant to do that, but Mini has now been pushed all the way back. This base in the top right, I don't think it's going to stand. That's a lot of probes up there. He was hoping to mine that out a lot. You know, get rid of some of the money on the Light side of the map, because eventually Light's going to take that base, right? For sure, he's going to get that base. So why not mine some of his money for the later game? But I don't think he's mined much. I think he's only mined, you know, a few hundred minerals out of that. Hardly enough to to pay off all of the probes that were sent up there, plus the Nexus, plus the gateway, plus the pylons and cannons. That was quite the... Oh my gosh, carriers coming out of nowhere. Oh my gosh, four oh my goodness, 4 Stargate carrier behind this. Mini going crazy. All he was planning to do, I guess, was just hold until these carriers came out with the arbiter, just trying to buy time. Has he bought enough of that precious resource to get these carriers online? He's gonna have, you know, another 4 carriers out. 6 carriers should be coming here in a moment, but they don't have interceptors, and Light is gonna get across this bridge. Light is gonna get on top of these bases. Light is right in on this base now, hitting everything. Mini has an outpost in bottom left, and he's killing SCVs over at this 4th. The carrier number has grown, but the interceptor count is still low. Only a few Goliaths here, but there's still enough to kill all of the interceptors before they get much damage. He can pull his probes out of this natural and send them over to the 4th base, but he's refusing to do so. Mini mining just a few last resources out of that base. He loses the majority of his probes. Light is pushing so aggressively up into the main. Carriers are going to come forward. He should actually kill every tank here. This is kind of a mistake by Light, just shoving up onto this high ground. He's going to lose a lot of this. He doesn't have any Goliaths with this army, so he will retreat back down onto low ground. Only loses about 2 tanks there. Not the greatest targeting, and not enough interceptors for sure here for Mini. Mini is not out of this game yet, but he is in a extremely rough position. Wow, he managed to actually afford 4 more carriers. Guys, Mini is about to have like 7 carriers, and he's stopping the 4th base from mining still. He's still managing to slow this down. The DT is getting a ton of kills. An absolute massive number of kills. It will finally go down, but I don't think it's enough. 22 workers for Mini. 51 on the side of Light. Another DT comes out, but with that consistent detection, Science Vessel's going to shut that down. I don't think we're going to see the extra 4 carriers pop and actually join this fight in time. EMP goes down. EMP massive on this big clump of carrier. And he comes running forward, guns down 1 carrier. Light takes the series away. Oh my goodness. Light with the 4-0. What does this mean for SCSL in the semifinals? Are we going to get an all-Terran finals? in the SCSL. It's looking that way. Because Mini is showing his back. And Light is just grabbing onto that neck, choking him out over and over again. Unbelievable power we're seeing from Light. It makes me very excited for this season of SSL, actually. With Light looking this good, there are so many strong contenders who could potentially win this season. Maybe Light is going to be able to stand up to people like Soulkey this time around. We've also got Queen, who is looking fantastic as well for the first time in a few years. I am kind of blown away at the moment, guys, at how well Light played this series. Utter domination. But you really, I don't know if it's the genius of Light completely or really the difficulty that Mini is having. Maybe an off day for him. Maybe he didn't get enough sleep last night or something. Man, he had such a difficult time dealing with those drops. And so, guys, I thank you so much for joining. Thank you for all the support for this stream so far. We're at 320 gems now. Oh, hold on a second. I might actually have that wrong. Should be 420. Give me a moment here. $420 gems, guys. Thank you for the support. I was throwing that together in the midst of the cast, so I apologize. Big shout out to Gallons and Cjo T for the gems today. And guys, we're gonna take a short break for the next couple of days. We're gonna be back on Wednesday with some more Duel Series action. Hope you guys enjoyed this cast. Jacksonian, what's up, my buddy? What's up, my guy? Are these games just in the SOOP archives? 2 map pools ago is an interesting choice. Otherwise, no, these are being played semi-recently. This is a 2025 series. And they actually haven't been cast in Korean yet. So it's going to be an ongoing series. It's going to be continuing into the long term. I will get more information about it, exactly when these were played and stuff. I'll talk to Starcast TV about that. I'll get confirmation. And I'll let you guys know in the future. Again, I really appreciate your support. A little bit frustrated that Mini didn't play a little bit better this series. I hope that doesn't mean we're going to get a complete walkover in the SCSL, but go ahead and check those games out as well. Could just be an off day, guys. It could just be an off day for Mini. $500 is the prize pool for every day of the Duel Series. Light just took home that $500. That's a nice little paycheck to add onto his streaming donation goal as well. His earnings for the day get a nice little boost. Mini's gonna go home a little bit sad, I think, as he has just, I mean, made this guy, what do you even say? to your fans after that performance. I'm sure he's going to have a hard time taking on Light in the next series, and that's going to be coming up soon, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That is it. We're going to end here, and this will be up on YouTube. If you missed any of the games, it'll be up on YouTube tonight. I guess tomorrow morning, your guys' time if you're in North America. GG's, and I'll see you in the next one.